Nice and breezy out here today, you all. Nice and breezy.
You see, there's just one thing I would like to know. What's the problem? What's the problem? Tell me, what's your problem? So what's the problem? Five, four, three, two, one. What's the problem? Tell me, what's the problem? So what's the problem? Tell me. Five, four, three, two, one. So what's the problem? Tell me. I wanna know. Oh, tell me. So what's the problem? I wanna know. Oh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So what's the problem? Tell me. I wants to know.
Hello everyone, my name is Bartee, and I don't know anything about sickle cell anemia. What do you know? Now, I don't know if there's a family trait that's in my family, passed down from generation to generation, because I don't know of anyone that has sickle cell that's in their family. But it's best, I was told, to do your research so it doesn't pass from family member to generation to family member. Now, there's a goal set for $800. My wife is in charge of that. I don't get to make a lot of decisions. But I would say to you all, please contact at the bottom of the screen my wife and be a part of the fundraiser in order to help sickle cell advocate achieve her dream of going from city to city, state to state, providing the tool that is necessary to detect as a detect. You tell me, I don't know about this, but anyway, help us, help you. Thank you.
What time? What time?
No time. Keep going.
Oh, Lord, we're going to hold these people. Let's get out of here. This is the last one, y'all. It is anyway, so thank y'all for rolling with me. I need these. It was going to be an after party, but after this, I'm going to bed. number so much. It's so easy to ask. It's easy to lie. It's so easy to ask. Over and over and over again. Time after time I still see you breathing. Girl, you know I need you so much. I never thought the chance that I would have to find another love. And it's you I'm thinking of. Since so easy, it's easy to love you, girl. Since so easy, over and over and over. Since so easy, it's easy to love you, girl. Since so easy, over and over and over again. You know, this is what I want to let you know. Make it talk, Ricky, make it talk.
Hello there. Welcome to another episode of So What's the Problem TV show. And I'd like to thank Jay Cable. Thank you so much, Jay Cable, for that musical interlude. And prior to you hearing that soulful Jay Cable, you heard Bartee, who's the other half of Angie BEE Bartee Productions. Tonight's show is going to center around sickle cell. Sickle cell is a disease. And in order to support our local sickle cell advocate, her name is Kiana Griffin, we are going to have a telethon. The reason that we're having that telethon is going to be explained to you by Kiana Griffin. So if you're ready, Kiana is backstage, and we're so thrilled that she was able to take time out of her busy schedule. When I say busy, I mean Kiana Griffin is busy. She is gainfully employed, she has a family, and she travels to 4 counties stressing her sickle cell advocacy. So if you have questions tonight for Kiana Griffin, please text them to 407-914-6519. All right, are you ready, Kiana Griffin?
Hello, everybody. Good
Hi
evening.
there.
Good evening.
Griffin, thank you so much for joining me again tonight, Kiana. You are very reliable.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, Kiana. So tell us first how you became involved with sickle cell as an advocate.
I began my journey in the year of 2009.
Mhm.
And when I was looking in the penny saver for something else, I was working with Volusia County Schools. I
Okay.
graduated from Bethune-Cookman University in 2003,
Mm-hmm.
and I began my journey with Volusia County Schools. But it was something really tugging on my heart that it was like that wasn't enough. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking through the penny saver, and I saw a case manager position at the Volusia/Flagler County Sickle Cell, and I said I'm going to get that job. And I
Okay.
called. I had never done case management, but I called and I got an interview with Mrs. Lillian Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in, I got the job, and she
Okay.
told me what the job entailed. And it was, specifically, as she would say, you have to know the story. So she taught me the story. She had me to say it for her
Mm-hmm.
over and over again so that when I would go out to
Uh-huh.
give my sickle cell education, I would not miss it. I would dot every I, cross every T,
Okay.
and do my paperwork so that we can continue to get funding for the business.
Okay.
Well, I learned in my journey that so many people with sickle cell, they're very old. They don't leave. And so Mrs. Williams was older and
Right.
others are older. And so
Mm-hmm.
she did resign in 2015.
Okay.
She had passed away 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when she resigned, it left a gap.
Right.
And so I did some research to find out, what I could do. And not only was it a gap here, but it was a gap 4 counties from here going north. So the
Yeah.
next sickle cell office from here, the
Mm-hmm.
closest would be Jacksonville, and that is Duval County. So you have in between there, you have Volusia County starting
Yeah.
off, then you have Flagler County,
Uh-huh.
continuing north, St. Johns County, you have
Yes.
Putnam County. So
But
there's all those counties that didn't have advocacy. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make that my responsibility to make sure that they have advocacy, to make sure they have education, to make sure they have knowledge and information. And I'm really, really excited because it's a lot of work. It's a great work,
it
but
is.
it's doable. And it is a great, great task, but it's doable.
It is absolutely a great task, Kiana. It's a tremendous task because, in addition to you learning everything that you possibly can about the sickle cell disease, then you have to learn how to advocate for the families. You have to learn how to communicate with the individuals. You have to learn how to communicate with the hospital staff, with the states, with reaching out for funding. Oh my gosh, Kiana, it's enormous.
Yes, it is.
It really is enormous. So tell us a little bit um, about how you deal with the individual families. Do they contact you when they're in crisis? Do you find out when they're en route to the hospital? How do you find out?
So the same clients that I started out with in 2009, I still have some of those same
Right.
clients. And then,
Mhm.
of course, I have newer clients as well. I even have babies.
Oh my.
And so they know me, I know them. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter if they're going to the hospital and they need me, they'll call me. Or if the most recent as of last night,
Mm-hmm.
if they're in the hospital, they've been going to that same hospital every time, but then all of a sudden things change and the orders that the doctor has left are not being followed.
Oh.
Then I have to go to the hospital and I have
Oh.
to advocate on their behalf physically. I like doing it via phone and letting things get done, but if I have to go there physically, then I
Mm-hmm.
have to, really look at the situation and ask them what is going on
Mm-hmm.
physically from their mouth so I can hear it, and
Right.
then go to the nurse. And that happened last night.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have what kind of authentication do you have? Do you have a badge, or do you have some type of documentation that certifies you to be an advocate? What do you have to show to them, or what do you say to the hospital staff that will allow them to accept you as an advocate?
So specifically for me, I do have a badge. I have my badge with my picture on it, with my name and my company on it. I have a few badges because some I use in the hospital, some I use when I do education in the community. And so honestly, if you're advocating as an advocate, you don't have to have anything. You just go and talk to the nurses and the doctors with sense.
Okay.
Advocate on their behalf because this is my company and because I am an advocate and I do this with them specifically, and I want the hospitals to get to know me. So I wear my badge. I put my badge on last night, went to the hospital, and the first thing I did was I asked for the charge nurse or the DON, the nurse that's on duty right then.
Okay.
That's the first thing I need to know. Then when I asked for the charge nurse, the lady that I asked, she said it wasn't her. So the next thing I want to know, where's the nurse for that specific patient?
Right.
And I got to speak to her. And thankfully, she was a travel nurse. So she wasn't a nurse that's there all the time. But because she was a travel nurse, she treated her differently, meaning she treated her with more kindness.
And
she
respect.
was one of us, and that made a difference.
Right.
She was an African-American female. And when I shared with her, because it was just simply as this, my client goes there all the time. The doctor's order states if her hemoglobin goes to 7.5, some may not know what that means. That means the blood level. Right. Hemoglobin is a main word talked in the sickle cell world. If her hemoglobin gets to 7.5, she needs a blood transfusion. That's another word that's used a lot in the sickle cell world, blood transfusion. They get many. Right. So she had gotten down to 6 and they refused to give her one. That's why I had to go to the hospital.
Oh my God.
She was in pain. And so
she was in severe pain.
She was in pain. And so this is the sad part. While I'm talking to the nurse and I told her, first the nurse said, it's okay if I talk to her about your information because that nurse was a travel nurse. She didn't know me.
Right.
So my client said yes. So I'm standing there in front of my client in the records and we're talking about this situation. I told her, if the records say this, why are the things being changed? I said, I don't like it when they're being used as guinea pigs. And they're trying to, okay, well, let's try this. That's not the time for that at all. Absolutely not.
No.
So I just want them to adhere to the record so she can get out of there. And this is the sad part that my client, and this is the same client that I went on 106.3 radio station about.
Right.
And she said, I'm afraid to even hit the button to ask for help because they're going to mistreat me.
Oh my gosh, Kiana, that's horrible.
That's so sad.
It is.
Your job is to be a nurse and to, help people. You took an oath, take oath. But for my client to say she was afraid to push the button, and so when the travel nurse said, "Oh no, ma'am, you always push the button," I said, "Oh, I know you're in good hands, and I'll check on you later." And I was able to leave.
Right.
Had she said anything else, I would have had to stay. I'd be there hours. I've been taking my children to the hospital to visit clients.
Oh my
it
God.
is that serious with sickle cell.
Oh my gosh. And it really is sad that they have directives. They have the directive and they refuse to follow the directive. And so what's the recourse when something like that happens?
Take their name, speak to the doctor that's on staff, even call the client her primary care or hematologist. That's the blood doctor that they see normally.
Right.
Contact them and report that nurse. Don't let it go. Report it. Because if you let it go, they'll think it's okay. They can continue to do it.
I absolutely agree. You cannot let it go. Now, Kiana, let me ask you about, well, first of all, let me give you testimony. I don't think I've revealed this so far, but I am going to probably make a little short video to share with the world the fact that my husband, I've only been married once. My husband was of Haitian descent, and he had full-fledged sickle cell. And so did two of his, one of his brothers and one of his sisters. And he lived to, when I married him, he was 45. And he only lived for 6 years afterwards, mostly because he refused. He was terrified of a blood transfusion. I mean, he was simply terrified of it, and he refused to have a blood transfusion. But he had several crises while we were married, and it was extremely difficult. It was difficult for me because I wasn't familiar with the disease until we married. And though he did share it with me before I married, I still didn't realize that I was going to end up being a nurse. I just didn't know. You know, he was a little tall, you know, he's a little fine, you know. Yeah, I said, girl, it can't be that bad. It was that bad. It really was. It was sad. We were constantly in a hospital dealing with the disease, and I didn't know to search for an advocate. I didn't have a clue what to do. We were at the mercy of the nurses and the nursing staff and the doctors at that time. But his downfall was he just refused to have a blood transfusion. But you need the blood transfusion. So tell us, Kiana, why do you need a blood transfusion? What is it that's in the blood that needs to be refreshed?
So when a person has a sickle cell crisis, they go to the emergency room. That's
Right.
the step. Because there is so much pain. A lot of times they don't even want to go to the hospital at all. They'd rather suffer at home, take their medicine and don't even go. But when it gets to a point where they have to go, they will go. And they will sit there most times for hours, unless they have an advocate to push to get them in.
Wow.
And then by the time they get in, they get their IV to get some medicine, some help, some relief. So if their cells are shaped like this, they're whole, right? So when they start to sickle, they start to come in shape like this. So in our small veins, they're trying to go through, they clump.
Right.
Because they're flowing through our bodies.
Right.
Those of us that have whole cells, that's our body makeup. But when you have a sickle cell, it starts to take on this form, this shape. And trying to squeeze through this vein is so very, very, very hard. So when it clumps up, that's when the crisis occurs. So you have all of this, and you're trying to get them to come back to this cell.
Right.
So the blood transfusion, it helps to replenish, to get the blood back flowing as a whole cell.
Right.
But, and I understand his point. I've had a client who did get a blood transfusion once, and the blood was bad.
Right.
It didn't agree with her body. She ended up in ICU all the time.
Oh,
We almost lost her. She's young with one child.
wow.
So that's, I can understand his fear, because there's no guarantee. You remember we did the blood drive.
Yes.
Because more of us, we need to do more blood drives. We need to give and donate more, because we need to, yes, because there's blood that needs to go to our people.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, I am an avid believer in participating in blood drives, and I do it on a regular basis. And we need to do more to encourage people to donate blood. It doesn't cost you anything to donate blood. It's just a little prick, and you know, they can draw quite a bit of blood, and then you can give blood on a regular basis. You can give blood on a regular basis, and it really does save lives.
And if you're an organization, you can set up your own blood drive. It's free. They'll do your advertisement. They'll give you all the paperwork, and it's the red blood bus, the red
Right.
bus.
Right.
They'll set it up for you for free. The only thing they ask is that you allow them to be there for a minimum of 4 hours. But everything is free. They give you all the publicity. They'll post for you. You can share it on Facebook and all social media platforms. And it's that simple. And it's free.
And it's free. Okay, so what we need more than anything else is a brick and mortar. If we had a brick and mortar, that's another one of our goals, Kiana, is to have a brick and mortar so that we can have sickle cell drives to give free testing, so that we can have the big red bus, the bloodmobile come.
So I do have a brick and mortar.
Oh.
And so it's at 984 Orange Avenue.
Oh.
I came on Facebook last year, and I solicited to open the doors. I did open the doors. And then the bill is $1,600 a month. But I believe
hold on, Kiana. Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
That's ridiculous.
One second. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
Okay, take your time, Kiana.
So,
did you hear what she said?
It is.
She said the rent on the brick and mortar was $1,600 a month. That sounds like a three bedroom, 3-bath apartment. We'll be back in just a moment. We have got to hear the rest of this story.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5. Hi, my name is Sonia Bennett, and I reside in Detroit, Michigan. When I was growing up, I used to walk to my former church, Hartford Memorial Baptist Church, and there was a building right there on James Cousins Highway called the Sickle Cell Anemia Building. I had absolutely no idea what this building was about. I didn't know what sickle cell was. I didn't know why sometimes I would see people going into it who looked like they were in pain. I knew nothing about it. And as I got older, I learned that one of my favorite singing groups, TLC, had a member in that group that had sickle cell. Her name was T-Boz, and she would talk about, as years went on, that there were times she would be backstage and in so much pain that she couldn't go out and perform, but she would push through the pain because she knew that her fans were looking forward to seeing her. And she really was the face of TLC, and she still is. T-Boz, I have a lot of respect for you for fighting through that pain of sickle cell. At this time in my life, I still
New from Inspired, the Alopecia Awareness Special Edition. Visit laderopress.com. 9 brave souls share their alopecia journey in this Confinement Chronicles Special Edition. Online everywhere.
Hey everybody, it's time for today's health tip. Today's health tip presented by your wellness coach, Kim. Visit her online at krbutler.goherballife.com. And now it's time for today's healthy tip.
Hey everybody, it is Coach Kim here. I just want to share something with you about the curious person who is looking to lose weight and maybe trying to figure out how to do it and how to get started. Well, we have a 3-day trial pack, and in this package, you'll find 6 packets of our cookies and cream shake. That is the most popular flavor tasting, and it is so yummy. And you'll get 6 of our teas inside. You'll get 3 of the lemon and 3 of the raspberry. And what this will do is it will give you an introduction to the Herbalife way of doing things, meaning that we have 1 to 2 shakes a day. We'll have 2 colorful snacks and 1 healthy meal. And we get to coach you along the way. So when you purchase this, which is $35, you will get me as your coach. I get to walk the whole journey with you for the next 3 days, however long it takes. And I'm looking forward to it because I'm going to be a guest next month, and we get to have a challenge. Talk to me at krbutler.goherballife.com, or call me or text me at 240-281-7865. And I look forward to introducing you to the Herbalife way with this 3-day challenge.
Well. Thank you, Coach Kim. We appreciate today's health tip. Better You Nutrition. We appreciate you, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
I am the way, the truth, the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. The way, truth, and life. Jesus Christ, God came in the flesh once he comes again. How long will his people keep rejecting him? How much more does he have to endure while y'all testing him? Why don't you rest in him? Why you keep wrestling with my angel set? You better just repent, there ain't that much time left. And I don't wanna see you go down that road, you know it leads to death. There's so many they wait, why don't you change directions? Let the word of God be your GPS, and he will show you the way. Call on his name and be saved. I ain't saying that it's gonna be easy. Matter of fact, it might be just as hard, but at least you'll have God on your side when it comes time. For what? You don't know this is war, and before you know, it's gonna all be over. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. This is serious now that you feeling me. Yeah, I'ma speak the truth. It's about to hit you like 100 proof, and the spirit's proof. Ain't that enough for you? How about his love for you? Y'all acting too cool, he shed his blood for you. See you too comfortable, this shouldn't be old news. Yeah, he made me brand new, and so I can't keep doing what I was doing like it's all good. I see it just won't do, because he lives in me, just like he lives in you. Jesus, I gotta live for you, so I ain't doing what I want to. Yo, I'm doing what I got to, and you ain't gonna stop me. What you think I'ma stop now? Dude, he's on top now. You just a Christ hater, you better stop hating. I keep on patiently waiting, cause I'ma take it from Satan. You better watch what you're saying to me. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. The devil think he's slick, and you know he really is. Slick enough that he can trick 95% of Christians I know don't even know they rolling with him like they was homies. Meanwhile, Christ is the one they claiming to represent, but he the one that's getting left out the game while they busy picking devils on their team. Can't believe what I've been seeing. They don't wanna hear it, but they gon' feel it when it all flip. Don't say I didn't tell it like it is, and still I won't quit. I'ma keep on going till I can't no more, till I'm down on that cross and it's finished. I'ma let y'all know what the saith the Lord, and you can call it what you want, but I just really wanna know who's really down for the cause, ready to die for the Lord. Is it about what you want? Is it about what he's done? This ain't about just hanging out and having fun. You must be kidding me. How many more gotta die for y'all to see he came to live in me? Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Hello there, and welcome back to So What's the Problem TV show. Our advocate, Kiana Griffin, will be joining us again shortly. But let me tell you a little bit about why we are having a telethon. We are having a telethon to support the Levi Long Sickle Cell Association. It is going to start in 8 days on January the 28th, which is next Saturday. It's a 24-hour telethon. And as you heard Kiana Griffin state, sickle cell is a debilitating disease. And a lot of the problems occur because many of us do not realize we have the sickle cell trait. And so the purpose for the telethon is to raise money we need $800 in order to buy sickle cell testing kits so that Kiana Griffin, while she's traveling through Flagler, Putnam, St. Johns, and Volusia County, she can offer free sickle cell testing kits to the people that she meets. The testing is free and the results are immediate. It's probably just going to be a little prick on your finger. And we're just very excited to be able to assist the Levi Long Sickle Cell Association. We're going to be spreading awareness. We're going to be raising funds for advocacy. And the music videos that you have just seen have been offered to us so that we will have some content to air. During the 24 hours, we're going to be live. That's a long telethon, ladies and gentlemen, and we can still use your help. Just as I have given a brief testimony of my sickle cell story, we need for you to do the same. Whatever you can offer us, in addition to offering your donation or your pledge, we'd like for you to please send us a testimonial about the sickle cell that you have been exposed to, that you've heard about. Maybe someone in your family, a loved one, has suffered from sickle cell disease. If you would send a video or send us your entertainment, if you have a poem, if you can sing a lovely song, we're going to ask that you send it to VolusiaBusinessWomen@gmail.com. VolusiaBusinessWomen@gmail.com. We really do need your help. We're only asking for $800. That is not a lot of money because, as you heard, it takes $1,600 per month just to pay for a brick and mortar office building for the Levi Long Sickle Cell Association, which is currently housed here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Okay, so Kiana Griffin is back with us. Welcome back, Kiana.
Thank you so much. And what a way to just talk about it. So the brick and mortar is so important that we have one.
Yes.
Have a place where, and it's already set up. I've given, I had a grand opening. The city says they want me to do another grand opening.
Good.
I gave the keys back to the owner.
Oh,
it's okay. Even though I gave the keys back to the owner, nobody wants the space but me. But we know in business, money is business and business is money.
Yes.
I didn't have $1,500 anymore. I exhausted my income tax last year.
Yes.
All that I could. So my plea to everyone that can see this video is, if you have funds, if you know how, I do have a grant writer now.
Yes.
Have a researcher now.
Okay.
My said, you want the keys? Whenever you want them, just come get them. It's my space, right? That's the favor of God because
that is the favor of God. Did you just say the owner said if you want the keys to come get them?
Come get them. He
Girl,
said he has the sickle cell trait.
Really?
So when I gave him my vision and my plan, he brought people from out of town to come and walk through my building because he was so excited that I was excited about helping people with sickle cell. Again, it's business. I can't keep a sickle cell door open without your help.
No, you absolutely cannot. And you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to, Kiana. I mean, look how much you're doing. You're making a sacrifice. This is a huge sacrifice for you. And we appreciate it very much. But we need help. We need your help. We need everyone's help.
I strongly believe in the first hour, we're going to get the $800. We already have.
Absolutely.
So all of the money that's coming is going to go toward the face of the building.
Yes, absolutely. And I might as well go ahead and add the fact that Kiana and the Levi Long Sickle Cell Association needs a vehicle. So God, we are asking and believing and standing on the word that she will get a vehicle because right now she's using her own private vehicle that she needs to transport her own family. And so we need so many things. and we are going to get everything that we need. Everything. God is going to supply everything that we need.
Yes, He is.
Kiana Griffin. Yes, they are. If you have any questions, audience, please text them to 407-914-6519. Now, let's move on to a cure. Some people think there is a possible cure for sickle cell. Even if there is a cure, Kiana, I'm sure it's probably on the very expensive end.
So the details of the cure, and there's an absolute cure. And someone here in Daytona, I plan to have a video with them expressing and explaining the process of them going through that process of getting cured.
Okay.
So the cure is that the stem cell treatment.
Okay.
So this is what it entails. In our culture, a lot of families don't have the same mom and same dad, right?
Right.
This cure, it entails a sibling that has the same mom and dad to go underneath the stem cell treatment with the sibling that has sickle cell disease. So I've met people that have gone through that, but again, it's rare in our culture.
It is. It really is. And I'm sure it still is expensive. I've also heard it called a bone marrow transplant. Kiana, is that the same thing?
It is the same thing. Yes, it's a different name. Same thing.
Wow. And you're right. It is rare. As a matter of fact, I have some information here that states that the sickle cell trait is more common among people whose ancestors come from Africa, the Mediterranean region, the Middle East, South Asia. However, anyone can have the sickle cell trait.
Correct.
Do not think that just because you don't have melanin in your skin that you could not possibly get the sickle cell trait, because that's just simply not true. Okay, so someone has sent a question and they said, they told me my daughter had the trait. Oh my goodness, but they didn't tell me what to do about it.
Okay.
How can you answer that, Kiana?
So with a person that has the trait, they would need to make sure that they stay hydrated. They will need to make sure that they dress the weather. And we have in Florida, we know when it's going to be cold. We know when it's hot.
Right.
And the sickle cell crisis is the one that has to go in and out of the hospital. But the trait is a less pain at all. But they just have to have the knowledge of not meeting someone else that has the trait to not get the disease, and educating that daughter that has the trait. So she too will not date and marry and have children from someone else that has the trait.
Wow. And let me tell you, that is easier said than done, because I definitely have some sickle cell traits in my family. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure if I have the trait, Kiana. My husband wasn't interested in becoming a father because he had the full-fledged disease. Both his parents had the trait, and that's how 3 of the children ended up with it. But I tell you, it is extremely difficult to get people of African American descent to go to a doctor, let alone to go to a doctor to have a sickle cell test. I mean, I have a doctor's appointment on Monday, and I intend to ask my doctor, how can I get tested for the sickle cell trait, just to see how he's going to respond to the question.
Write it down, because I want to compare notes of what I've received as an answer.
Okay. Okay.
So what I've been told, and I want to tell you the same thing. What I was told was you have a primary care doctor, so you've already gotten that part done.
Right.
You have to get an extra referral to go to a LabCorp or Quest Diagnostic, a lab. And then when you go there, you have to pay for it to get the test done.
Oh, so really?
So that's why I have to do trait testing for a lot of our young people that don't have a primary care doctor. A lot of athletes that can't get on the football field without a trait test given to the school as record. because the young man got on the football field with this trait, and he died.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay, so someone else is asking, Kiana, what is the difference between sickle cell SS, SC, sickle beta plus, etc.?
Okay, so those are different scientific terms in the sickle cell world.
Okay,
and those are what shows the levels that your blood form is in with sickle cell. Sickle beta plus. Then we have cell thalassemia. So those are the different terms for sickle cell in our bodies. Well, those that have sickle cell, for the doctor to determine the type of medicine they get. So it's determined by a lot. So those are different types of sickle cell. The difference is that it shows the different types in the bloodstream. Those have it, they know exactly which one they have. So they've been going to the doctor all of their lives. They know what medicine to take. They know everything.
So Kiana, does how does insurance cover? I mean, some of the patients that you have that have sickle cell disease, is it covered by their insurance companies when they go into crisis?
Definitely. Everyone that has sickle cell automatically you qualify for Medicaid for the rest of your life. You can qualify for disability for the rest of your life. So they're taken care of. They don't have to worry about it. Sometimes they may have a small copay depending on which form of insurance they have. So under Medicaid, we have different HMOs. We have Health in the state of Florida. We have a lot there are newer ones. So they may have a copay when they get their prescription for their medications, which won't be $8. And if please reach out to me, because there's a way that you can get it for less than that.
Right.
So I know some of my clients that I take personally to the pharmacy. I take them, pick them up from the hospital, take them to the pharmacy, get their medicine filled.
Right.
I know the copay.
Okay.
So they qualify for Medicaid.
And so because it is a disease, they can actually apply for
disability.
A disability, yes.
Absolutely. And on Advocacy Day some years ago, I traveled to Tallahassee with Mrs. Lillian Williams, and I met with legislators from all over Florida.
Okay.
Sickle cell is not going anywhere. Where would it go? It's an inherited blood disease.
Exactly.
So you qualify. Just apply. And if you have any problems, please reach out to me.
Yes.
Because I have a free lawyer who will take the case, and you will make sure that you get your disability.
Okay, now, Kiana, I want to get back to the brick and mortar. I'm really interested in this brick and mortar. You say it's on Orange Avenue in Daytona Beach, Florida. And so you're going to what? What are you going to do to get us in the building? Or when are we gonna what are we gonna do here?
When do you guys want to come? Because the owner is just waiting on me. He's just saying, let me know what your plan is. He's from Africa. What is your plan? Let me know.
Okay.
So I need to let him know that the community has my back.
Yes,
door open. We're gonna make sure
yes.
We're gonna make sure and it's a blessing today. I got a message in Facebook Messenger. Physiologist wants to partner with me and have space in the building and rent space. So I'm like, yes, ma'am. My church, Lifeway Church, want to partner with me because we have our own at our church. We have a nonprofit organization. We feed the hungry, pay co-pays for people in the hospital that can't afford it, buy things for those in the hospital. So they're going to partner with me. My goal, this is my vision.
Awesome.
On that side of town, which is in the Midtown area, I've already spoken to the UMC. I don't remember what it was. Well, anyways, on North Street, the food to the homeless, partner with them so we can have our own food drops right there in that parking lot. Okay. We need it. Food is going up so much.
It is. And guess what? The people will come to get the food. The people will come to get the food.
I already have it planned out. And guess what?
We just need to encourage them to give the blood.
Yes.
We don't understand how critical that is for us.
Another thing there is, so I share the down south in Hollywood, Florida. There's a FDSCR, Foundational Disease or Research, Sickle Cell Research, right? So they put me over our very first sickle cell clinic, which will be in New Smyrna Beach, in our health department there.
Oh.
So we will have our own sickle cell clinic.
Awesome.
If I have to transport Daytona to New Smyrna or whatever I have to do to get them there to see their own doctors, sickle cell doctors, I went to Hollywood, Florida.
Okay.
I had a tour. It's going to be a part of the videos at the telethon.
Yay!
We're going to have hydration chairs in the building. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I told Fast.
Oh my gosh. You should be, Kiana, because that was one of the questions I was going to ask you was, what about clinical trials? Is that something that will help?
Yes.
Is there something that would help?
Yes, and not only us, there are clinical trials being done currently in Daytona Beach. And I can't remember, but I know one young lady that works there. Her name is Villa Hopkins. Yes, she's there. And she's working at the clinic, and she's giving me information. The doctor is Dr. Tina. They offer clinical trials for sickle cell clients. I gotta just keep pushing.
Kiana, hold that passion, girl. Hold it, because we'll be right back in just a moment.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5. Hi, my name is Sonia Bennett, and I reside in Detroit, Michigan. When I was growing up, I used to walk to my former church, Hartford Memorial Baptist Church, and there was a building right there on James Cousins Highway called the Sickle Cell Anemia Building. I had absolutely no idea what this building was about. I didn't know what sickle cell was. I didn't know why sometimes I would see people going into it who looked like they were in pain. I knew nothing about it. And as I got older, I learned that one of my favorite singing groups, TLC, had a member in that group that had sickle cell. Her name was T-Boz, and she would talk about, as years went on, that there were times she would be backstage and in so much pain that she couldn't go out and perform, but she would push through the pain because she knew that her fans were looking forward to seeing her. And she really was the face of TLC, and she still is. T-Boz, I have a lot of respect for you for fighting through that pain of sickle cell. At this time in my life, I still don't know a lot about the disease. However, I have had my daughter tested because her father passed away when she was about 2 years old, and I don't know if that was a trait that he carried. I know that I don't carry the trait, but I also know that the different strains of sickle cell can show up even without there being generational traits. My suggestion is for you to look into the area that you live in and see if there is a sickle cell anemia center near you or that can give you any information about it. Other than that, I pray for everyone who carries the disease, and I'm praying for your pain, praying your pain is managed, and that one day we'll have a cure.
Moaning in the night, my moan is taking flight. Like fruit on a vine, my moan is sweet and ripe. Taking over body and soul, taking breaths as each moan rolls softly off my tongue and through my lips. My hands, my arms, my hips, moving in sync with my moan. My hands, my arms, my hips, moving in sync with my moan. Moaning through smiles or tears, moaning for whichever one it is. My moan is mine to feel. Feel my moan. Feel feel my moan. Piercing your body, making you sweat. Piercing your mind, making you forget. Piercing your ears, making you deaf. Piercing your heart, wishing you left. And yet, you still are here. Hearing my moan. Hearing my moan. Hearing my moan. My moan grows louder and louder. My moan opens my soul like a flower. My moan is my weakness and my power. My moan brightens the darkness in the hour. My moan is heavy, yet leaves me light. My moan is utter agony and sheer delight. My moan erases my wrongs and paints my rights. My moan moves freely in the night. My moan releases my stress. My moan has light. My moan is my passion. And my moan is my moan. My moan is. My moan is. My moan is. My moan is.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. That was another outstanding, entertaining presentation that you all will be able to enjoy during our 24-hour telethon. That 24-hour telethon is happening on January the 28th through the 29th of this year. It starts at 10 a.m. And the purpose is to raise funds for sickle cell test kits and just to support the Levi Long Sickle Cell Association. Once we do purchase those test kits, guess what? We're still going to need more. So thank you so much. We look forward to you joining us. I'd like to welcome back Kiana Griffin. And Kiana, would you go ahead and explain to us what you were saying about the possibility of us having clinical trials in this area?
Oh, definitely. So I've been given the responsibility through the Foundational Research for Sickle Cell Disease from Hollywood, Florida. We're duplicating the exact clinic that's in Hollywood, Florida, in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. It will be at the health department. The next time you talk to me, I will have our grand opening date for the clinic.
Awesome.
Hydration chairs. I will be running the clinic.
Awesome.
And I'm excited because right now we're working on doing telehealth for our kids so they can start getting their eyes checked more. Because people they not only go through complications with their body, also have problems with their eyes, and it looks like they have jaundice or yellowing of the eyes.
Okay.
And so having good eyes is very important. To get their eyes checked on a regular is very important. So everything they're doing down south, we're going to start doing up here to show sickle cell families that we really, really care.
That is outstanding, Kiana. And what that also means is how much you care and how much of your time you're devoting to finding resources for people with sickle cell disease, because so many people don't know enough about the disease. They don't know how to take care of their bodies. They don't know how to eat the proper foods. Like you said, they don't know that they need to get regular eye exams. Everything is just so critical when it comes to sickle cell disease.
Yes, ma'am.
And the fact that it predominantly affects people of color is that's just another really big reason for us to do everything that we can in order to make help more visible, to make education more visible, especially in these counties now. So we're going to be taking on, well, New Smyrna Beach is Volusia County.
Yes, it is.
So that's not that far from
Nope.
us. So I'm happy to hear that we're going to actually have a facility located in the health department building in New Smyrna Beach.
Yes, ma'am.
That is great. That is really great. And then telehealth. I mean, we didn't know what telehealth was prior to the pandemic.
Right.
So a lot of good things happened as a result of the pandemic. So, oh, it's time to go. Oh, Kiana, it's time to go that quickly.
That's okay. We can have a part 2. I have questions. I've been reaching out now. People are asking, what is the deadline to give the videos? Is there a deadline to send videos to angiebeeproductions@gmail.com?
Oh, I'm sure it is. And I will certainly let you know as soon as the broadcast is over.
Yes.
But thank you so much. We only have 8 days.
So
it's
much.
only 8 days before the telethon.
How many more days?
Thanks for watching.
How many days?
8. Only 8 days before the telethon.
Oh my God.
January the 28th through the 29th.
24
Thanks
hours.
for watching. See you next week. Thanks, Kiana.
You see, there's just one thing I would like to know. What's the problem? What's the problem? Tell me, what's your problem? So what's the problem? Five, four, three, two, one. What's the problem? Tell me, what's the problem? So what's the problem? Tell me. Five, four, three, two, one. So what's the problem? Tell me. I wanna know. Oh, tell me. So what's the problem? I wanna know. Oh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So what's the problem? Tell me. I wants to know. So what's the problem?
I am the way, the truth, the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. The way, truth, and life. Jesus Christ, God came in the flesh once he comes again. How long will his people keep rejecting him? How much more does he have to endure while y'all testing him? Why don't you rest in him? Why you keep wrestling with my angel set? You better just And I don't wanna see you go down that road, you know it leads to death. There's so many they wait, why don't you change directions? Let the word of God be your GPS, and he will show you the way. Call on his name and be saved. I ain't saying that it's gonna be easy. Matter of fact, it might be just as hard, but at least you'll have God on your side when it comes time. For what? You don't know this is war, and before you know, it's gonna all be over. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. This is serious now that you feeling me. Yeah, I'ma speak the truth. It's about to hit you like 100 proof, and the spirit's proof. Ain't that enough for you? How about his love for you? Y'all acting too cool, he shed his blood for you. See you too comfortable, this shouldn't be old news. Yeah, he made me brand new, and so I can't keep doing what I was doing like it's all good. I see it just won't do, because he lives in me, just like he lives in you. Jesus, I gotta live for you, so I ain't doing what I want to. Yo, I'm doing what I got to, and you ain't gonna stop me. What you think I'ma stop now? Dude, he's on top now. You just a Christ hater, you better stop hating. I keep on patiently waiting, cause I'ma take it from Satan. You better watch what you're saying to me. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. The devil think he's slick, and you know he really is. Slick enough that he can trick 95% of Christians I know don't even know they rolling with him like they was homies. Meanwhile, Christ is the one they claiming to represent, but he the one that's getting left out the game while they busy picking devils on their team. Can't believe what I've been seeing. They don't wanna hear it, but they gon' feel it when it all flip. Don't say I didn't tell it like it is, and still I won't quit. I'ma keep on going till I can't no more, till I'm dying on that cross and it's finished. I'ma let y'all know what the saith the Lord, and you can call it what you want, but I just really wanna know who's really down for the cause, ready to die for the Lord. Is it about what you want? Is it about what he's done? This ain't about just hanging out and having fun. You must be kidding me. How many more gotta die for y'all to see he came to live in me? Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. He is the way, and he's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Nobody comes to the